Joining me to discuss the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day is Brigadier General Sani Usman, retired former Army spokesperson. He joins me live tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I believe you're joining us from Lagos. If not, where are you joining us from?
Well, I'm joining you from Abuja. I just arrived at Abuja from Duse.
Thank you so much for making the time. Yes. As a retired spokesperson yourself, how would you describe the significance of today's remembrance of armed forces, the fallen heroes?
It is very, very significant, even though one will have a mixed feeling in the sense that you are so grateful to God. At the same time, you remember your colleagues who have paid the supreme price that are not alive to be with us today. At the same time, the significance is that this is someone who had, sacrificed his life or give the best he could for his country, and the person is being appreciated. So there is a kind of sense of pride, sense of belonging for those of us that are privileged to be alive. And even those that are alive, there are some of our colleagues that they have lost some vital parts of their body, some arms, some legs, and so on, some even vision, and some have been traumatized. So, but here you are alive and kicking. I think we give God the glory, and you feel so happy and proud to be alive. At the same time, you remember and pray for your colleagues that are not with us, and of course, see how best we can take care of those that have been left behind by our fallen heroes also.
That's an important point you just made, General Sani. Critics of the ceremony say the government focuses so much on formalities and less on supporting those still alive. How will you describe the government's support for living veterans so far?
I think people are just saying it. This is a long-time tradition dated back to the world wars, and we have domesticated it. Somehow, it is not formality, so to speak. Somewhere along the line, that you have to aggregate this thing so that you give people a sense of belonging. Remember, today being 15th of January, is the climax of almost 4 months of activities, So it is not an issue of formalities. There are borders on intellectualism, welfare issues, and so on and so forth. But again, coming to what you are talking about in respect of the government, it's a work in progress. And if you remember, for those who have been in Abuja for 25 or so years, way back, especially in the early 2000s, you remember in Zone 3 in Wuse, where the military pension board was, you see soldiers lying down on the street, on their, floor and all the rest, waiting for their entitlement. That has been, taken care of. And as time goes on, and just recently the government has come out...
General Sani, let me come in here, but that appears to be a perennial issue. This issue of unpaid entitlements. We get to see and hear from living veterans of how they can't afford to support their families as soon as they get off service. And these are men and women who have contributed out of their salaries over the years to a certain account. They expect to get paid as and when due. When that doesn't happen, how does it affect the morale of not just the living veterans, but of would-be young people who would like to join the military?
If there is anything untoward, definitely it affects morale and it discourages people. But I think the picture you are painting is not realistic, in the sense that I'm speaking from experience. Now that you hardly spend more than 3 months after disengagement. First and foremost, you go on terminal leave, which is about 90 days or thereabout, and they prepare your entitlements. They are paid as at when you. That is for the officer cadre. For those the soldiers, ratings, and airmen and women, they go through the rehabilitation center in Oshodi. When they are at it, their entitlements are being processed. But there are other also services, welfare packages. Take, for instance, I know the Nigerian Army has welfare insurance scheme, death benefit, and of course sponsorship of the death let collect children up to 4 up to tertiary institutions. Then there is also group life insurance. And in most instances, before, personnel tend to have one next of kin throughout their life or throughout their career. Now, I think it is on a yearly or twice, and every 2 years you have to renew it, so that you will not be encumbered in terms of payment
General Sani.
entitlements. In all cases, there are administrative issues.
Right.
There are administrative issues that need to be handled by the individual, but I think they are doing very well. Most of them have digitalized now that even the payment of the entitlement, there is an application.
I would like to come in here. I understand you are speaking anecdotally, and we also know that we've reported many times about this issue of retired veterans not being paid as and when due. And this is an issue, and that's a fact. But we will continue to report on it. Thank you so much for coming